Okay, it gives me pleasure to introduce to you this man here that has come a long way. As a matter of fact, his name is Joey Long, comedian. Let's do welcome this guy, huh? Come on.
Well, Johnny, I want to thank you very much for inviting me down here tonight. It is a pleasure. It is a pleasure to be here at a natural food restaurant. You know, in India, we are very used to natural foods. We eat a lot of vegetarian foods in India. You know, in India, as a matter of fact, everything is sacred in India. Pardon me, I think my elephant's so double parked. No, it's true. You know, the elephant is sacred, and the lotus blossom is sacred, and the Ganges river is sacred. The vegetarian food, everything is sacred. Everything is protected. The only thing is the people. They're expendable. But I would like to answer a few questions from the audience that I had earlier. Somebody gave me. Let's see, where's the questions? About India. You know, India's been in the news a lot lately. A lot of people would like to know different things about India. And so, let's see what we have here. Oh, wait a minute. One thing first. I found on a car out on the street this message. It was on the windshield. And it says, "To whom it may concern, I just smashed your fender." And there are a couple of people across the street looking at me. And I want them to think that I'm leaving you my name and address. But I'm really not. Because I think you can afford to fix your car more than I can. Signed, Paramahansa Singh Pook. No, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. How are you tonight, boy? You okay? Huh? On drugs or what? No? You in high school, huh? High school in America, that's wonderful. Somebody told me they asked a couple of kids in high school, they said, as a lesson, they said, "We want you to name the two brothers that taught America how to fly." And they said, Ernest and Julio Gallo. Ernest and Julio Gallo. These are the jokes, boy. They don't get any better, you know. It's all downhill from here. Have you been drinking? I think you have, because I see two of you. Okay. What are we going to talk about? Somebody asked me, they said, "Joey, how is life in India today?" Well, life is very tough in India. It is not pleasant, you know, in India. Life is very tough. It's not easy. It's a very tough time. As a matter of fact, I just passed somebody coming in here tonight. They're leaving on the plane. They want to see if they can get there in time for the winter famine. It's interesting. Nobody eats very good there. So what else are we going to talk about? Let's see. Oh, I know what I want to talk about. Let me see. Oh, Johnny, I was going to thank you for inviting me down here tonight. But now that I see what this audience is like, I'm not too sure. How are you doing tonight, honey? Very good? Good. Well, that's my impression of an Indian. Paramahansa Singh Pook. Okay. That's some new material I'm breaking in. I hope you don't think this is a career move down here. Small joke. My goodness. Well, what are we going to talk about? How do I look? Isn't that beautiful? It's about the biggest thing you ever seen since Bonanza went into reruns, huh? Oh, my goodness. Well, I do have a little weight problem. I can't wait to eat. Times are tough all over, though. It's really true. Oh, my goodness. I don't know what to do. I have a doctor, though. I have a weight doctor, you know, a doctor that specializes in weight. They're wonderful, you know, and you ever notice those doctors always have a chart on the wall that shows your weight according to your height. And immediately I can see my problem. I'm not too fat. I'm too short. For my weight, I got to be 8'4". I just got to keep growing. It's true, you know. It's not easy being fat in America. Everything's so expensive. It's expensive to eat food. It's not so expensive here, actually. You guys have some very good pies here, as a matter of fact. I can't get into a fish, though, named Ruffy. Ruff. I have a little Ruffy, a little orange Ruffy, as opposed to the blue Ruffy, I guess, and the green Ruffy. I will have the orange Ruffy tonight. Last night we had the purple Ruffy. Interesting name. It's like Crappie. Who can name a fish Crappie? I'll have a little Crappie there. It's true. But it's not easy being fat in America because everything's so expensive. The food's so expensive. To give you an example, the other day I saw an ad in the paper. It said 5-pound can of coffee for sale. Take over payments. Take over payments. That's the other joke. Interesting little boy there. My goodness. You come here all the time? Are you going to be coming here again? No. Are you into drugs? No? You look a little spacey though, you know. What do? You're in high school, right? I heard somebody out earlier talking. Did you eat anything tonight? What'd you have? A piece of what? Milk and cheesecake. This is about the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. Hey, I gotta tell you this story I heard earlier tonight. I'm gonna do this for John because he loves this. 2 hens meet in the barnyard. And the one says, "So Gertrude," she says, "so how you doing?" She says, "How am I doing? I'm doing fine. I'm laying grade A large eggs. I'm getting 75 cents a dozen." She says, "How are you doing, Mabel? How are you doing?" She says, "Oy vey, oy, oy, oy." They were Irish. She says, "I'm not doing so good. I'm laying grade A medium-sized eggs. I'm only getting 70 cents a dozen." She says, "So why don't you lay the large?" She says, "I should bust my ass for a nickel." Would you? Oh my goodness, let's see what else we're going to do. I know, let's do a few balloons. Does that remind you of anybody you know? What? The designer. The designer gardens were small people. Oh my goodness, oh yes. The old Natural Fudge Company. Don't you love that sign out there? What a creative sign. I mean, somebody really worked on that. Eat. What kind of sign is that? Eat. Food. Good. They study in sign painting under Frankenstein. Did you have a nice Thanksgiving? How many people had a good Thanksgiving? Oh, I actually had a pretty nice Thanksgiving. Do vegetarians celebrate Thanksgiving? Huh? Well, I mean, you can't have a turkey, right? They don't eat meat. What do you have? A big, what, a tofu shaped like a bird or something? Big mound of tofu, mushrooms or something? Vegetarian Thanksgiving, that's great. Well, vegetarians are good people. I mean, there never has been a revolution in history that's been caused by a vegetarian. I don't think they can get up the energy. Oh, wow, man, we're going to march tonight. We're going to take the placards and march. We're going to destroy the Capitol. Oh, wow, can I finish this bowl of tofu? Never get them started. I had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's interesting. I passed by a lot of places that said, turkey. They had a big sign. Turkey and all the trimmings. You know what a trimming is on a turkey? That's the toenails, the beak, the feathers. Who could eat the trimmings? We clean up the language a lot, though, in America. We do. We have so many words, you know. We like to clean up, make nice sounding of words out of them, you know, more acceptable terms, you know. For example, in a supermarket, I was in Ralph's the other day, and oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you that Alpha, Beta, and Ralph's are merging, you know, because they figure they can do a little better as a result of this strike, and they're coming out with a new card, as a matter of fact, called Master Beta. No, it's not true. But it's you know, for example, meat. You know, they say you have a cut in a market that's called a rump roast. Come on, we know where the rump is. Let's be honest. But could they get $2.75 a pound if they called it cow's ass? I have a little cow's ass over here, $2.75 a pound. They put on sale. It's true. And then when you go to buy a chicken, the butcher asks you, he says, he uses another term that's called, you know, a colorful term that's been changed, you know, because we don't want to tell people the real thing. He says, you buy a chicken. He says, I'd like to have a chicken. He says, would you like me to dress it for you? Well, dress it? No, I think I'll take it home naked. I kind of get my kicks that way, you know. You don't dress a chicken. If anything you do, you undress it. You take off the feathers and you cut it in little pieces, you slaughter it and you undress it. And everybody knows breast of chicken is chicken tits, but nobody ever tells you that. And we got to use terminology. It's true. Well, you know, the English language has a lot of words in it. We've got so many words in the English language. We even have words that make other words backwards. That's your little brother? Your wife over there? It's your wife? How you doing, kids? Oh, Did you have a good time? Now come on, tell me the truth. When are you coming back again? Do well in school, kids. You're going to need it. Oh, it's true. For example, the word wonton. Wonton spelled backwards. Anybody think about that? Is not now. Nobody thinks about that. Do you suppose the Chinese are trying to tell us something? It's interesting. Take a simple word like the word embargo. Here's a word, embargo, a nice simple word. Spell it backwards. It spells, oh, grab me. It's true. We have a way of undoing words too. You know, you can make a word and then you can unmake a word simply by putting a prefix in front of it, you know. For example, when a priest, you know, is removed from the priesthood, he's excommunicated, you know. And a lawyer is removed from, you know, practicing law, he's disbarred. Find that interesting. It's fascinating. It's very easy to do that in the English language. You do all sorts of things. I suppose when a hooker stops working, she should be delayed. Think about that. How about when a songwriter stops writing music? Would you say he's been decomposed? Huh? I don't know. It's interesting. Where'd this come from? What a silly looking thing that is. Jesus Christ, that looks almost lewd. Does that remind you of anybody you know? Rub that a little, I need to be longer. No, I'm gonna stop it, Joey. Okay. How you doing, sweetheart? The dinner was excellent tonight. Oh yeah, whoa, what a wonderful thing. John Wayne wouldn't eat a natural food restaurant. Would you? I can't picture John Wayne coming here and saying, you know, really saying, I have a little tofu and some of that bird's nest salad, amigo. Bring it out with a little tea. No, he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't eat an orange roughy. He wouldn't. But Pat Buttram might. Well, I think I'm going to go down to the Natural Fudge Company and get me a little orange roughy and a natural salad with some tea. Huh, Mr. Douglas? He might eat down here. Thank you. Oh, my goodness. Okay. What is this going to be? There it is. A snake with ears. Still looks lewd. A snake with ears and front feet. They hop on the desert, dragging their little tails behind them. How's that? I love it. Oh, a little doggy. I should tell you a story about that. Well, let's see. Let's try something else. Do you want this little doggy? Would you like this? Come over here. Come on, sweetheart. I think I love you. Huh? You're just my type. You're a girl. Okay, you can have that little doggy there. Well, let's see. What else? Two Frenchmen meet each other on the street. The one says, Jacques. He says, Jacques, how are you tonight, my friend? He says, oh, I'm not so good. I'm not so good, Pierre. They're always named Jacques and Pierre. Have you ever noticed that? French girls are always named Fifi. Spell backwards, if. Well, what are you going to do? Or Lulu. That's ul backwards. Stop it, Joey. The Frenchman meet on the street. The one says, so Pierre, he says, how are you? He says, oh, I'm not so good. I'm not doing so well tonight, my friend. He says, why? He says, you see, my third wife just died last week. He says, oh, I'm so sad. Your third wife died last... Yes, she died. He says, but tell me, Jacques, I don't remember. How did number one die? Oh, the first wife. Oh, well, she died from eating the sauteed mushrooms. He says, oh, how sad, my friend. He says, how did number two die? Oh, number two, you mean Lulu. Backwards, ul. She died from eating the sauteed mushrooms as well. How sad, how very sad. And this last one, how did she die? Oh, you mean Fifi? Oh, yes, well, she died from a concussion. Oh, well, she didn't die. Well, it's interesting. How did that happen? But she would not eat the sauteed mushrooms. That's the joke. Oh. What else? Pedro and Pancho. This takes place in Mexico. Pedro sitting on his front porch. He look out. He say, hey. He said, hey, Pancho. He said, where are you going there? He said, what do you have there in your hand? He said, I have a butterfly. He said, where are you going with that butterfly, you stupid one? He said, I'm going into town to change it for a pound of butter. He said, well, you don't going to get no pound of butter for that butterfly. He goes into town. About an hour later, he comes back. He's got a pound of butter. Next day, here comes Pancho down the same road. Pedro looked out. He said, hey, Pancho. He said, hey. He said, what you got there? He said, what you got there? He said, I have a horsefly. He said, where you going with that horsefly, you stupid one? He said, I'm going into town. I'm going to change it for a horse. He said, you don't going to get no horse. That horsefly, pendejo. Sure enough, about an hour later, here comes Pedro down the same road, riding a horse. Next day, Pedro's coming down the road. He's got a pussy willow in his hand. Pancho says, this a minute, Pedro. This time I think I go with you. Oh, my God. So, let's see. What else is happening? You ever think about words? Speaking about words, you know, even the names of people can be significant, can be important. You know, important people have always had important sounding names, you know, like presidents, you know, Franklin Delano Roosevelt and John Fitzgerald Kennedy, and those people have great names. And they became great people. Never has been a president of the United States named Marvin Lipschitz, nor a first lady named Myrtle Funkhauser. They don't stand a chance. I mean, they're out there. The Marvins and the Myrtles are out there. Even a person's initials can be important. You know, FDR, those sound good. JFK, those are nice initials. But what chance would a man stand running for the presidency today if his initials were SOB or IRS? Wouldn't make it to first base. I'm going to read you my Christmas poem. I always write a poem for Christmas for my friends. This is my 85 Christmas poem. John, do I have time to do that? Go ahead. Okay. Are you taping this, John? Yeah. I want you to memorize it and then burn your brain. Okay? This is Joey's Christmas poem for 1985. Okay, now this is heavy-duty stuff, kids, all right? And you got to be serious and maintain some silence here and dignity, because this is Christmas. This is that jolly time, and went through a lot of trouble to create this. It's called The Very First Christmas. I mean, this is really the very first Christmas. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the cave not a creature was stirring, that is, except for that lousy Tyrannosaurus Rex. He was scratching and snoring something awful. The stockings were hung on a stone hook with care, in hopes that the prehistoric Santa would soon be there. The pterodactyls were busy cleaning their nests and ridding the forest of foul-smelling pests. Tumac and Lecha had both gone asleep, all hunched in a corner in a fur-covered heap. They dreamt of rock candy and presents galore, like fire-starting flint chips from the Sears Stone Age store. Christmas dinner was baked saber-toothed tiger leg, yummy, with a glaze made of eel eyes and wolf spider eggs. They kept a fire at the door to keep wild beasts away and savored the anxiety of this primitive Christmas day. Around 2 in the morning, they heard such a clatter that they rose up to see just what was the matter. When up on the rooftop was a fat man and sleigh, pulled by 8 huge brontosaurus, all decked out so gay. Yes, they tinkled of sleigh bells, and as the moon slowly rose, Tumac noticed the front one had a cherry red nose. Then Neanderthal Santa calmed them down with much glee, when one of them lifted a leg so's to pee. Santa yelled, "Run for cover!" Tumac asked, "What's the matter?" But before he was answered, the Bronto relieved his huge bladder. It's getting exciting, isn't it? It flooded the cave, soaking everything in sight, wrecking what might have been a magical night. Another Bronto shifted, then lifted his tail, letting out a great fart, followed by a loud wail. As the odor rose up and covered the trees, the leaves fell off their branches and birds dropped to their knees. This embarrassing incident, with much dire results, shamed Santa no end as it quickened his pulse. He said he was sorry, but he needed more time to better train his brontosaurus and to keep them in line. But Tumac and Lecha had blood in their eye. Amidst the stink and the dampness, they forced Santa to fly. He took off from the cave top as fast as he knew. Midst obscenities were shouted at him and his crew. Well, now Santa uses reindeer as he flies on his way, but he'll always remember those tough early days. He'll think of that incident in all of its parts, learning you can't stop to smell the roses when a brontosaurus farts. You think I'm a threat to Shakespeare or Longfellow? I want to thank you very much. My name is Joey Long, and I'm going to bring your host back up here tonight and the restaurateur of this fine establishment, Mr. John Roberts. Thank you.
Thank you for the benefit of the doubt. Joey Long, thank you very much, Joey.